Hi, friends. This is Jeff and Forrest, and we're here to discuss what it's like to have a stepfather or to have a stepchild. And I did this a couple of weeks ago with Tucker, and now Forrest and I are going to talk to you. And I'll start by getting some of Forrest's perspective. Forrest, what do you think it's like having a stepdad?
Well, like sometimes you kind of think of them as I don't really think of the stepdad as like my parent. I more think of them as like a friend and someone to talk to sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of how we've approached it in our family is generally um, we left the heavy lifting to Forrest's mom as far as the discipline and things like that. And we're sort of eased into that with me. Now, do you know how long I've been here? How long we've lived together?
I think about 2 years, right?
Yep, 2.5 years. True. And how did things change when I moved in? What was different for you?
Well, it's a lot different having two people in the house.
Two grown-ups?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how was it different for you?
Well, my mom was spending a tiny bit less with me because she was spending more time with you a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Did that take some adjusting for you?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's that's one thing I think sometimes the kids feel a little displaced at first when a parent remarries, and that's something we have to be sensitive to. Forrest's mom was sick too, and so she had less time for everyone in some ways. But
Yeah.
that was a hard thing. Um, what are good things about having a stepdad? Like what have you found to be positive about it?
It's just very nice having just a person that you can talk to about what you like, what your interests are, and just different things that you like to do.
Okay. And do we ever do fun stuff together?
Yeah, we go on outings.
You want to tell about that?
Yeah, sometimes we go out and go and eat, and then I go and get a little prize, a book or a toy or a Lego set or something.
Why don't you show your book? This isn't one we got on an outing, but this gives an idea of stuff Forrest likes. Tell us about this book.
I just like to read. This book is about this guy named Geronimo, and there's mystery because there's this really bad smell around the city, and so they're just trying to find out why it's stinking so much.
Yep. Forrest loves reading. And tell who some of your favorite authors are.
I like Dave Polkey. I like Raina Tuckelmeyer, and I also like Jeff Kinney.
Okay. And what are some of the other things you like to do?
I also like making movies, hanging out with my friends. I like watching TV.
Yeah, Forrest uses Power Director and some other software to edit his movies with, and he'll get his friends together in the neighborhood, or like at the family reunion this summer. On my side, he organized some of the cousins, and they made a movie and had a lot of fun. So that's something Forrest enjoys doing.
Yeah.
He's got some good friends right here in the neighborhood. A few of the kids are close to his age, so that's good.
Yeah, they're really nice kids.
And I like most of Forrest's friends that I know. I know several of them. And so anyway, Forrest, tell them a little bit more about what it was like to have your mom dating people, like before we got married. What was that like for you?
It was a little weird because I never knew she was gonna actually marry those people.
Right. You didn't know if they were sticking around or not, huh?
Yeah, like with Rob, where I was like, what if Mom actually married him? Like it just kind of seemed kind of weird.
Right. And how did you feel when your mom said that she was actually going to marry me?
It was definitely exciting. Kind of like it's kind of like if anybody has been through this, if you've ever, your parent is about to have a baby, it's pretty exciting and like you don't really know what to think about it much because you don't really know what's going to happen.
That's an interesting thought that it's like your parent is going to have a baby and it's going to be different, but you don't know exactly.
You don't know.
How.
I kind of like I know a little. It's a little more because I knew Jeff because I've known him since 2016, right?
That's right.
So I've known him a while, but with the baby, you're never going to you haven't seen them.
Yeah, I think I met Forrest and Tucker both 4 years ago. I think it was this month. It was right around Halloween time, as I remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time?
Yeah, I think I remember. I was practicing, and I remember watching Tucker. I remember seeing him running to the door, wondering who it was.
Yep, and I had never met you guys, and I wasn't sure because it wasn't planned really. I wasn't sure if I should come in, so I was texting your mom, and then Tucker came out and said, "You can come in," and I said, "Your mom said that?" And he said, "You're Jeff, right?" "Yeah." So I went in. And that was the first time I met you and Tucker, and you were in there practicing the violin with your mom. Forrest is a accomplished violinist.
Yeah.
What book are you on in Suzuki now?
I'm in book 4, in the middle of it.
Yeah, Forrest does a good job with his violin. He's getting better all the time, and he's improved a lot since I first met him. When I first met Forrest, he was 6, and now he's 10, so I've seen him grow up a lot.
Yeah.
And half of that time, a little more than half now,
It's very
that I've known him, me and his mom have been married.
Yeah, it's very weird because I never know when I'm actually gonna see the other people that mom dated. Like sometimes I see Dan, but like I haven't seen Rob in a while, and it's not very often that I see Daniel, and it's just kind of weird that I don't see them as much.
Right.
And it was a little weird because I think Rob the most out of all the people that mom dated.
Uh-huh.
That was the most I saw.
Okay. And it's kind of weird to not see some of the people that used to spend time around.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad a little bit that I don't get to see them because they're kind of like my friends.
Did you know when she was dating them that they might not end up sticking around?
Yeah, I kind of felt like they're really nice people. I really like them, but they just don't feel like the right people for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely, I think, were the person.
Well, thank you, Forrest. I appreciate that. And one of the big bonuses of me marrying their mom was I got 2 more kids, and so that's fun because my 2 older boys are grown and they don't live with us. We see them as often as we can, but it's not as often as we want. But it's nice to have Tucker and Forrest around, and we do fun things together. We go out on little outings together. I try to take Forrest and Tucker out individually, so I get to know each of them by themselves, and we have a good time with that. Sometimes we all 3 go out together, or we have a guys' night if sometimes their mom has a violin performance or something, and we get a guys' night where it's just all 3 of us.
Yeah. Something I really remember is once my mom, I think she was working with her students, and it was maybe around like 7 or 6 at night, and like I hadn't done my homework because I forgot about it, and I remember you helping me. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around in 2nd grade-ish.
Yeah, I helped with a lot of homework, especially that first when your mom was sick and couldn't do as much.
And I think those were pretty good memories. Like that's pretty much how I learned because I don't know how I wouldn't have learned without Jeff.
Awesome. I think it's great that mom feels better now and she can do more of those things again. But overall, I enjoy having stepkids. There are challenges, in adjusting to a step family situation, and we've done the best we can, but I feel like both with you and Tucker, we love each other and we're family, and And we're like any other family. We're trying to um, all learn to care about each other more and to be part of each other's lives and to cooperate to make our house run well.
Yeah.
And we all want to make sure that we love God and that we're headed in the same direction.
Yeah.
So, Forrest, anything else you want to say about what it's like to have a stepdad or a stepmom, or what that's?
I just kind of feel like, not that I don't like them, but they just kind of don't seem like the parents, that the people that because I've known my mom my whole life, but with Jeff, I've known him.
Not quite half, huh?
Yeah, almost half, but.
Yeah, it is different, and I don't ever want to replace your dad. I want my relationship with you to be different. Do you always feel that? Like you understand that it's okay for you to love your dad and love me?
Yes, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and I think for step families, that's that's really important. I don't push Forrest to call me dad. He calls me Jeff most of the time, and that's cool with me. We, you know, we have a different relationship than he has with his dad, and that's also okay.
Yeah.
You know, we uh, we believe in our family that love is additive. That the more people that love Forrest, the better. And so we want him to love his stepmom and his stepdad as well as his natural parents. And and so those things are important, and it's there are adjustments.
Also, like, when I think of brothers, this isn't to be rude, but I don't really think of your sons. Like, they're just kind of, newer.
Right, your stepbrothers are much older, and you haven't ever lived with them, right?
Yeah.
So there is a relationship. Sometimes Forrest will say, "Hey, we want to call Errol. Let's call Errol," and I think they like him and they look up to him. But it is a different relationship than they have with each other because Errol and Henry have never lived with them.
It's also hard because, like, I want to get to know more about Henry because we don't really get to see him as much.
Right. So there's still some mystery there when it comes to Henry because he's only been out to Utah once since we got married, and although Kathy and I have gone up to visit him, the boys haven't. So they've only really met him the one time and talked on the phone a few times. So that's step families can be complicated that way, and I think the important thing, at least one thing for me, if you have a step family, is everybody needs to kind of relax and be patient with each other and be flexible because things are going to change. And sometimes that's good for us to learn to change when we have to.
Yeah.
Be accommodating to other people. What's the advice you would give for us if you knew, say, another boy that was 10 years old or something that was about to get a stepmom or a stepdad?
I'd say, well, you still should be nice to them, but you don't have to think of them as the parent.
Right. So you maintain your relationship with your uh, with your parents, and you also have this new person that's, Forrest said earlier, kind of like a friend,
Yeah.
someone who you can confide in and talk to and do things with, and but you don't have to think of them immediately as your mom or your dad or whatever just because they married your other parents. So what else would you say to a child that's moving into a step family, getting a stepmom or a stepdad?
Well, it may be pretty stressful, but just try not to, stress that much um, because you really don't know what to expect. Really, you kind of can.
So kind of be open to the experience,
Yeah.
be willing to try new things.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it is hard when you don't know what to expect and what's coming, and try to be excited about that, kind of like when your parents going to have a new baby or something. I think that was an interesting analogy that you made. Anything else for us that you would like to say about, maybe you could give advice to someone that's about to become a stepdad or a stepmom that's going to, marry someone that has children. What advice would you tell them?
The parents
Yeah, if they're going to marry and create a step family.
just kind of let them get used to it. It's very hard to try to get used to things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get really used to Jeff always being in the house.
Takes time, huh?
Yeah.
And like I said, we love each other and we're happy family, but we've had to learn to adjust to some new things. I have too. I've made mistakes and I've tried to do my best, um, but I think Forrest is right that it takes patience and takes time. And
Yeah, and if you are one of those step parents, you like really just, if any of you are on there right now, you should just think that don't try to be like, don't try to push the stepchild to be like always wanting to be with you, because it's very hard just to actually get really used to seeing that step parent always.
interesting thoughts. I appreciate Forrest. I appreciate being his stepdad. It's fun. I appreciate that, he loves and accepts me, and um, he doesn't have to give up his dad to do that. And I would say to every step parent, that's one of the key things: is make sure that your child knows, or your stepchild knows, you want them to love their other parent.
Yeah.
They're that relationship lasts forever, so it's important that they maintain those, and that I know that Forrest's loving his father is no threat to me. That Forrest can love both of us, and that's perfectly great. So anyway, thanks for coming on, Forrest. I appreciate you
Yeah.
doing this with me. And any parting words?
Not really.
Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. We hope this has been helpful, particularly anybody who is
A step parent.
planning a step family here anytime soon. And yeah, if you're a step parent or a stepchild or are about to become one, we hope this helped and gave you some ideas. So
See ya.
we'll talk to you soon.